Perfect. Let's get started. So, hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here with me. So, whether you're crafting with us along live or you're going to catch the replay later, welcome. So, this is a relaxed, feel-good card making session. There's no perfection required. We're just taking some creative time for ourselves, right? For you. That's important. Um, so it's about 11:32 in the morning Eastern time here. And I love that we have crafters from tuning in from all over. This is just, I love this. I love that we get to connect and create together no matter where we are. So, the one thing I like about tech. So, if you're new to me and joining me for an online workshop, today we are going to simply share our love and joy of paper crafting, right? We're going to relax, we're going to have some fun. And yes, crafting is scientifically proven to release those natural endorphins. So, that'll get us all jazzed up and excited. And to me, the best part is we get to spread that joy with others simply by sending a hand-stamped card. Best feeling ever. So today we're going to create three adorable love-inspired cards. Now, these projects were originally designed as my team make and take. So they're meant to be fun, doable, and easy to recreate. So if you caught Tuesday's premiere, so every Tuesday I do a premiere over on YouTube, and then you'll see the blog post on my website. We did this card. So this is a four-card class for my team. Today we're doing the other three, and then you can see the fourth one, full tutorial on my website. So video tutorial. Yeah, you'll see that on my website. So if you want to get that fourth card, we're going to do a one-sheet wonder today, and it does include the cut parts for that card. So, all right. Let's see. A little bit about me if you don't know me already. I've been a demonstrator for over 23 years, and I am have been full-time since November of 2019, which is not typical. Not many people do that, but this is what I'm doing, right? I'm married to a very wonderful, supportive man. I have two amazing grown children and my granddaughters, two granddaughters that I just love them. Love them to pieces. They're so cute, they're sassy, they're fun, just so entertaining. So I love what I'm doing and I love sharing it with you as well. So I serve my crafting community I do everything from online events. I have a card club, I have private parties, I do in-person gatherings, not many, but a few. When I do host in person, I bring all the supplies, teach the techniques, and then the host keeps the samples I make. It's fun, it's simple. We have a good time gathering and just hanging out together. So, virtually, like today, it's really more about connecting and creating together. So, what you're going to need, you've got a supply list that I have posted for today's projects. You don't have to use those same supplies, it's just what I'm using, right? So, you might want to keep your catalog or the online store open nearby, maybe a sticky note, a notepad handy in case something catches your eye and you want to jot it down. So as we go, I'll be talking about a few techniques you can reuse with other stamps you already own. I've got some alternate samples, just a handful. Um, so yeah, all good stuff. I will have an ordering special, and I'll tell you about that as we go here. So let's get to the fun part. Crafting, right? I'm going to walk you through each project. We are using the Valentine Kisses stamp and dies on. So I'm going to switch the camera over and we will go about this. Ready? Yay! Let's hope that my phone is going to, oh, see, and of course now it's zoomed out. It was not zoomed out like that earlier. Isn't that how it goes, right? Like you set everything up and then you switch it and then it doesn't do what you wanted it to do. So we're going to zoom down in. Let's see if I can lower that a little bit. Yeah. Earlier I needed it way out. So you got to see my messy desk and all the stuff around it, which is fine. Let's see. I'm going to make sure there's not anybody else that's asking to come in the group. We'll do that real quick. Perfect. Awesome. 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 So is anybody crafting along with me? Let me know. Let me know. I'd love to know. Perfect. I will try. Yes, this is being recorded, so you will be able to watch it later. It'll be right here in this group. So it's this same post. Once it's done with the live, it'll be recorded. I will pin it to the featured area. And if you still can't find it, I will upload it to YouTube as well. Um, you know, so that everybody can get to it. Because you guys know that Facebook no longer saves um the lives, right? They save them for 30 days and then they just kill it. So anyway, so this is why I upload it to YouTube as well. So it's you can find it whenever you want to find it. So I will try to catch comments as they come through. You guys typically are faster than what I can do, right? All right, I know that there's quite the delay here, so hopefully you guys can see my desktop now. So this is the Valentine Kisses bundle. So this is a stamp and die bundle. I like to move my dies to magnet cards just because the double stick tape makes me crazy. This is our new packaging if you're unfamiliar with it. So everything is flat and sleek. We have images. I didn't grab the sleeve for the dies, but the images, the die images are on the sleeve for that as well, and they're the same size as each other. So here's the project we're going to make today. So we're going to start off with our simplest one, and then we're going to move up a little bit, and then our third one. So those are the three we're going to do featuring this bundle. So I'm going to move that out of my way. And we're going to start off with our 6x6 designer series paper. So this is the print I've chosen to grab for today's projects. Now, this is the one sheet wonder template. So I'm going to cut my 6x6 paper per this template. Know that the D right here, these three, we are not making that card. That is for this project, which I showed on my Tuesday live. So you don't have to do this as a one sheet wonder if you don't want to, but you totally can, okay? So I'm gonna move this out of the way. I'm gonna bring in my paper trimmer. If I can find my paper trimmer, you know what I forgot to do is turn on my mic. Hopefully you guys, I have sound. Let's turn the mic on. Maybe that's better, a little bit better. Hopefully. It'll be better as I turn around and stuff, hopefully. All right, so I have a 6x6 piece of paper, and I am gonna cut this apart. So I'm going to start by cutting it at 3 inches. So that's in half at 3 inches. Now this is a directional paper based off the hearts. So I'm just watching that. Okay. Now I'm going to rotate this and cut it at 4 inches. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this 3-inch into 3 1-inch strips. So there'll be 1 by 4. So this is, it's C on my template, but it's actually the first card we're going to make. Okay. All right, so now I've got my 3 strips here. So that's going to be for one of our projects. Now this bottom half, this is the one that I would cut in part into 3 1-inch strips as well. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to save this because I'm not using it to create that card, right? I already told you. So then this 3x6, I'm going to cut it at 3. The bottom is B, so that's going to be used on our second card. And then this one here, I'm going to cut this into 4 1.5 by 1.5 squares. So it's just taking that piece and cutting it in half in both directions. So super simple, right? Super simple. So this is going to be our last card that we are going to create. So this is A. So did I work in the same order? No, but that's okay. Right? That would make it too easy and make too much sense. All right, make sure you guys ask questions as we go along if you have them, right? These are pretty straightforward. So again, we're going to make this one first. Let's see if I can move some things out of my way. And I've got my cut packet here. So we have got this right here, and I will tell you the measurements as we go along that I've got here. So these are my parts. I will tell you the measurement as we go along. If you want the PDF tutorial that goes along with this, I have that as part of my ordering special, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, okay? So I have got my real red card base. So this is 4 1/4 by 11, and we're just going to fold this right in half and give that a good burnishing on that fold, okay? Now I've got a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. So let's start off. We're going to bring in our real red ink pad. Okay. And I am going to find, hopefully, the Happy Valentine's Day sentiment. And we're going to stamp that at the bottom of this layer with real red. Now, I like to stamp my sentiment first. You could do it after, But what if I mess it up? If I mess it up, then I have an opportunity to flip it over and grab that. So that's why I did what I just did, right? Stamp it first. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this right down on my card base. I'm gonna go flat. You could pop it up if you prefer. That's entirely up to you. I want these to be fast, easy, duplicatable projects that are still stinking cute, right? Now, you could see the prints that I used here. I actually didn't cut this as a one sheet wonder when I created the first time. I just cut whatever prints I wanted on each of the cards. For this, I wanted to show you, all I need to do is flip one over, and now I've got two different prints that I can work with. Now, you could put the XO in the middle and the stripes on the outside if you prefer. I think I like the XOs on the outside with the stripes in the middle. Agree? What do you guys think? There'll be a little bit of a delay, so I'll give you a moment. I will give you a moment on that. So I'm going to set that aside and tell you about my next layers. So this layer here is a vellum circle. Who else is a big vellum fan? I love vellum. And I used my largest circle from my favorite stylish shaped dies. And so I've cut that out. So we're going to use a little vellum today. And then I've got a real red little banner. Isn't that adorable with the little hearts in it? That we cut out of using the Valentine Kisses dies, which are these right here. That one right there is what I used. Okay. So I am going to put a little bit of liquid glue on here. If you know me, you know I am not a huge fan of liquid glue, but it's the right thing. Now, I could have die cut this with adhesive sheet on the back, and I literally could have peeled and stick, right? Like made it its sticker, but I didn't do that. So I'm just going to put some little dots of liquid glue, and I'm going to let that dry for just a smidge. We're going to work on some other elements, and then by the time we're ready to put this down, this will be dry, so it won't ooze. And our Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue dries tacky, so it's sticky still even when it's dry, if you guys ever noticed that. So we'll easily be able to put that down. All right, it looks like people are agreeing that the XO should be on the outside. Yes? All right, best that I've been able to follow with the comments. If I am doing it wrong, my apologies. You're a crazy vellum fan. I love that. I love vellum myself. Okay, so we could put these on straight. So for my friends that don't like wonkiness, they like things nice and straight, put yours straight. That's totally fine. I am going rogue and I am not going to put mine straight. I am going to put mine crooked as my sample. Okay. So don't overthink this. I want this one a little bit angled and I'm going to go up a little. Okay. And then my second one, I'm going to put this one down. Of course, you could do the outsides and then do the inside if you wanted. So this one I'm coming down a little bit and I'm going to make this one have a nice kick out to it. Okay. Don't overthink it. Like I said, just put it down. I think as adults, we tend to overthink everything that we do, right? All right, and I think I want that a little bit angled as well. How about right there? Nice. I'm going with it. Perfect. Now, let's go ahead and see if this is dry enough. I just stuck it to my mat here. Didn't mean to do that. I'm just going to lay this right down on the vellum, right in that corner. I'm going to let that sit for a moment and dry. So let's work on our little bear. So I don't know how many of you guys know, but Stampin' Up! Has a join offer that's happening in just a few days. I think it starts February 3rd. And I am excited that they are reintroducing a new stamping positioner tool. So here's the insert for it, Stampin' Positioner. So this comes with the tool and it's in different languages, all that fun stuff. But I thought we'd try it out today. I haven't tried it yet, so I thought we'd try it out. So let me show you the tool itself, which I think is very exciting. So they have a join offer that's starting, like I said, and this tool will be free during the join offer, which I think is amazing. It's a $49 retail value at this point. And I don't know, I just love it. So it's different than what we had before, right? If you're a Stamparatus fan and you love your Stamparatus, you probably don't need this tool. But if you don't have a stamp positioning tool that you love, or you don't have one at all, this might be something to consider. So this is the base. You're gonna notice there's pegs at the top. We'll talk about those in a minute. And then you have these little nubbins. I'm gonna call them nubbins. There's probably a technical word. I'm gonna call them nubbins. And then these kind of have a give, like they push down. And then the magnets are those nice, strong, rare earth magnets. But look, they've encased them in these little tabs, so they're super easy to get off. And when they snap together, you're going to be able to get them apart, right? So less breakage happening there. So I love that about it. Now, there's going to be a grid paper that goes along with it that has little holes. So you just peel off a sheet and you can just put it right here. So you no longer need your magnets to hold your grid paper in place. Okay. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think that's great. Now, let's find, there's two different plates to this and I'll show both of them at some point, right? I'm going to start off with the big plate. So there's a big plate and then there's a skinnier plate. So I'm going to start off with the big plate. So it has, I put my bear image that we're going to use. It's got two holes at the top that are going to go right there. And then this has that same popping mechanism. So when you set this down on top of your paper, when you just set it on here, it's not going to touch the paper. There's a clearance. Let's see. There you go. There's a clearance there. So the stamp will not touch the paper until you push it down. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and add in a piece of cardstock. Now on my measurement sheet, the paper I listed is 3.5, no, wrong one, is, dun, 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 dun. Where is it, Wendy? 3.5 by 3. It doesn't seem right. Yeah, 3.5 by 3 is what I have written down. But I just grabbed a scrap and I'm just going to lay it there. Now, I can put my magnet down to hold it. Okay. I can put multiple magnets down to hold it so it doesn't shift. If I were stamping and not die cutting, that might be more important. I do also want to show you that you can also, there's a little point here. And so you can put your cardstock right here and it nests right in that. So I'm really excited to see what Stampin' Up! Does with this. I don't know if they're going to make it so our masks, you know, if you're using our decorative mask, wouldn't that be nice to be able to just slide that right down in there? And you almost don't even need the magnets, although I probably would still put them down. I'm going to do this straight just because that's how I've set it up on the plate already. So let's go ahead and put our magnets down, right? Nice and sturdy. And let's go ahead and ink up our image. So I am using Memento black ink. So let's do this. Now I haven't done this before, so you guys bear with me. We're doing this on the fly, right? We're practicing together. I just opened it. As a demonstrator, we get to pre-order one tool now through February 2nd. So if you cannot wait, join my Diamonds team and you can pre-order this, right? We've got some new catalog releases that are coming out soon that we can pre-order now as well. So I'm just going to lay this down. And then if you join during February 3rd through March 2nd, I believe it is, you get this tool for free as part of the starter kit. So it's in addition to the $125 in product for $99. Now, we do not know when this is going to be available for purchase, right? They said sometime after the promotion is over. So it'll be in the coming months, I believe. All right, I've got this down. I want to push this down. Now, people are going to ask me about this. To me, this looks like an air hockey puck. My friend Bruni gave this to me several years ago. You know what? I think my center stage is on. No, it's not. Okay, I just saw my focus move in. My friend Bruni gave this to me, and this works great with a stamp positioner tool. I do have them in my Amazon shop if you're interested, but I'm going to push this down, and then I like to use this tool to give good even pressure over the top. And then when I lift this, I've got a beautiful image. Now, if this didn't stamp as well as you wanted it to stamp, let's do it. Let's put a second layer and see what we get. Mine stamped really nicely, but let's give him a little bit more in his nose. Let's give it a little darker appearance in that nose. So I've just added a little more ink to the upper part. I'm again going to just lay that right down. I'm going to push this down and let's give it another little push right there and let's see how our alignment did. Like I said, I haven't tried this. Oh, that is looking really nice. I'm happy with that. Yay. I think I'm going to really enjoy this. All right, so now we are ready to color. Let's get working on our coloring. So for this one, I did quite a bit of coloring. You could choose not to do a lot of coloring. So let's bring our sample back in. It's this one right here. So I colored his whole body. We're also going to stamp this little bouquet of flowers. So let's go ahead and stamp that if I can find where I put the image. Bring back in our Memento Black. Let's do all of our coloring at once, right? Which means I really should do it on the inside layer as well. Let's do that. That way I can do all my blends coloring at one time. So I'm going to put this right there. Why not bring our little bouquet to the inside? I like it. All right. So let's go ahead and color this. Now, if lots of coloring puts you over the edge, then don't color the whole image. You could just do a light little tracing of color, right? Like you could stamp this and just maybe I'm going to take light Calypso Coral and I'm going to put a little color in his ears, right? So you could do just a little tracing of color and not color in the whole thing if you don't want to, or you could color in the whole thing. It's entirely up to you. Now I've got my ivory, so this comes with the ivory and bronze color. So I'm going to use ivory and I'm going to do his little muzzle here. Why not? I like to use the bull tip when I am coloring. You do you, but I feel like I get a much better result if I use the bull tip. Let's color our flowers. Let's color our flowers in pretty and pink. So I'm using light. You could do dark if you wanted to, or mix it up, right? Do some in light and some in dark. And I'm going to leave the centers just white. Why not? Can you have pink little daisies? I think we can. Now, if I would have stamped, if I had a white card base and I would have stamped directly on my white card base and then done this on the inside of my project, it's going to bleed through. So you definitely want to put down a layer where you can on that so it doesn't bleed through. Let's do our Granny Apple Green. So again, I'm using light because I didn't want it to be too terribly crazy dark. Okay, and then I'm going to color red. And I only grabbed one of the reds, I think. Yeah, I only grabbed the dark real red. So I'm just going to color in dark real red. Could you mix it with light and dark? Yes, especially since it's got this nice stripe appearance to it. I think that might be fun. But a lot of this is going to end up down in his arms. You're not even going to see it. Now these you will see. Just add a little bit of color. These are small images that we're working on first. So we don't need a lot of shading going on, right? All right, now the more complex is going to be our bear. Okay. So I like to start with my dark. You do you and color the way that it works for you. Again, I like to use my bowl tip. So I am going to trace his ear. I want some on the little bit on the top of his head, not the whole thing. I'm going to go down the side and I'm just putting in this dark line. So these are where I'm seeing I would have shadows. Is there a right and wrong to this? Probably. Don't overthink it. Just do it, right? So I'm putting my shadow more on this left side. Okay. And we'll do that. And I'm thinking his arms are going to leave him a shadow on his belly. And then as you move around to his back side. Okay, and I think maybe a little more dark here. All right, that's all I'm going to do with my dark. Now I'm going to work with my light and do my blending. All right, looks like my screen is frozen. Let's double check and make sure that it's not frozen for you guys. Perfect, perfect. Let's see. Looks like we're okay. All right, I think we're okay. Now, I am going to color this. I'm going to take my light pecan pie and let's go ahead and blend this out. Now, one thing I found with Stampin' Blends is that I like to overlap my light and dark, right? So let's go ahead and lay down the light color first. And if you leave some white space, that is fine. That actually is really nice. I am not good at leaving the white space. I will tell you that, unless it was an accident. Then I get some white space, but I don't worry about it too much. So here again, you could use the brush tip if you wanted to, but I don't do well with the brush tip. I do well with the bowl tip, or better with the bowl tip. I don't know if I'm great at this. I think coloring this, it does take some practice, and some of you might be great at it. All right, so now that I've got my color laid down, I'm going to come back in and do my blending. So I like to, if I can, work in a circular motion, and I'm going to fuzzy out that hard line where I change colors, if I can, right? I'm just using, again, I like to use a circular motion where I can. And you can overlap multiple times if you'd like. Let's see what he looks like when we're done. Get his belly a little bit of lightness right there. Let's see if I can color this out a little bit more. I almost wish, and granted, I could look for another color and I could bring crumb cake in. I almost wish that there was a third, like we used to have when they first introduced alcohol markers. Now I'm going to let that sit. You're looking at it going, that looks terrible. Well, it'll get better as it dries, right? Have you guys ever tried that? Doing it and it gets better as it dries? I think so. Oh, good. I'm not frozen for you guys. I'm glad because it was a little frozen for me. And you know what? I forgot to grab my die cutting machine. I don't like to die cut on camera. So I did not bring it over, but I've got to because I didn't pre-die cut these. So usually my surface will not work. And of course I grabbed it without a top plate. I'm going to slide this over. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work on camera very well, but I'll try it, right? We'll see what we can do. So I've got my lovely little bear. I'm going to put that on there. I don't even know if you guys will be able to see this. Yeah, a little bit. And then I've got my little bouquet. I might not be able to do them at the same time because I might have stamped a little close together. I might be all right. Okay, let me get my top plate since I wasn't prepared properly. There it is. There it is. Now, I like to put a scrap piece of paper under my plate so it's on top of the stamped image. You can see I reuse it over and over. I do this because when I'm cutting on white, I feel like it gives me less debris. My stuff is, I reuse mine over and over and over, and sometimes it leaves some marks on the white paper. So I like to just put that little scrap in there. Okay, let's see. I'm running out of space. I got stuff piled everywhere. Let's see. Oh, the dogs are talking to me now. All right, so pull this off. There's my little bear. And then there's my cute little bouquet. Well, if I can get a hold of it. There we go. We'll move this out of the way. Perfect. And I'll have to hunt for that die here in a bit. All right. So now I've got my cute little image. And one thing I think is super fun about this is that it cuts apart his arms. So you could put something in his arms. So I'm going to put this little flower bouquet. You could have it poke back out the bottom if you want, right? How cute is that? I think that's pretty darn cute. I'm going to have it poking out the bottom like that. Isn't that stinking cute? Now, if you wanted to tack that in place so that the bouquet didn't fall out, let's grab a glue dot. If I can find them. There we go. I call these boogers. I don't like to touch them. Okay, just tack one right in there. Cute. And then I want to put this on my circle, my vellum circle with some dimensionals because I like things popped up. If you don't want yours popped up, don't pop it up. I know. I think it's cute as well, Elisa. So you guys can use any type of critters. You might not have the Valentine Kisses bundle yet, or you might not want it. I don't know. Or you might have it and you're running to go get it. I don't know. It's so cute. We have so many fun little critter type images that you could use just about anything, I think. All right, so I've got this on my vellum. So you notice I put my stuff on my vellum before I put my vellum down. The reason being, I am a fan of vellum, but you need to hide where your adhesive is placed because it will show through, right? So I'm going to pop mine up. You don't have to. You can do it flat. I am just going to place my adhesive right where I already have an element covering it. And then now I could put this right down on my card front and not have that show through. Nice. And I'm just centering-ish. How cute. How cute, how cute. Now let's bring in some of our pearlized faceted circles. I love these. I've gone through multiple packs and you can see I'm running low. So there's some littles, there's some bigs. Let's use that lighter pink color since that's what I have left. We'll take this color here. Why not? So we'll put a larger one and we'll mix it with a smaller one. Why not? And let's put another larger one. Why not? Put that over here. Doesn't matter. You mix and match however you want to mix and match on those. But how stinking cute is that? So you can do this with anything. Let's go ahead and finish the inside as well, right? So we stamped our little bouquet, but let's stamp giving you a big smooch. So let's bring our white layer back in. And I left quite a bit of space for that. Normally I probably would have stamped my sentiment first, but I didn't. I didn't this time. Let's see, giving you a big smooch. And let's pull in our real red. You don't have it? Yeah, using very old pigs. Awesome. Awesome. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I think I can't wait until you to see what you did. So you guys definitely share your versions, right? You can use any designer paper. You can use any critters. You could change it to flowers. We all have flowers. So you could totally change it to flowers. All right, so because of where I stamped my little bouquet, I moved that down a little bit from what I did originally, which is just fine. It still looks good. There's not a right or wrong. You always want the set that's being demonstrated. I get it. Oh, here's where I was telling you. It does bleed through. Stampin' Blends do bleed through the paper. So that's why you want to put layers if you're going to be coloring. Nice. And we're going to lay this down. Just centered. So this is 4 by 5 and a quarter as well. All right. Now he's looking better as he dries, and it will look better and better as it dries. So you can see this one, I did pretty good on that as well. Now, if that still bothers you, pull in your color lifter and you can color and kind of blend out the lines a little bit more. I don't use mine very often, but it does make a nice look. And the one thing I do like about it on critters is that it will sometimes make it look furry. You know what I mean by that? Let me go grab mine. I did not prepare to show you that, but let's do it since we're talking about it. So the color lifter doesn't remove all the color, but it's going to lighten and blend the color. So let's take the one we've done today and let's use it to kind of soften my transition. And you can see it is taking some of that color off. It doesn't take it off all together, but you can also see it kind of gives it a different texture, right? So let that sit. I'll bring that one back out and we'll see which way you like it better. All right, so card one, we switched up the paper, but it's still cute. Yeah, Julie, you didn't want this set? Well, I think it's adorable. It might not be for you though. That's fine if this is not your favorite. Oh, let me go ahead and show you the alternates I created on this. I didn't do it for the other ones, but I wanted to show you I did on this. So I took the same designer paper and pulled in my Woolly Friends, which I love as well, right? And I did You're Simply Fabulous. So I changed my color of my card base to Flirty Flamingo, used a different print in the paper pack. Instead of coloring the full image, I just did the outline detail just to give them a touch of color. Okay, so there's that one. Then I wanted to do a little bit different, and I pulled in the Easter basket and did a little spring card. So instead of putting the white layer, I put Balmy Blue. So this is Shy Shamrock, Balmy Blue. And then I used the paper. Here I used the perennial postage dies, wrapped some ribbon around, tied a bow, and then added another layer. I didn't want to color this one. So I stamped him on crumb cake and just went that route. So you can use this layout with anything. I would have made a floral one as well, but I ran out of time. All right, so we've got these. I'm gonna set that aside. All right, our next one. The next one we're gonna make, what did I do with my samples? Is this one right here with the little kissing booth. Oh, it's so cute. Yeah, Marilyn, I agree. Once I started using this set, I just keep pulling it out. I love it. It's so adorable. So adorable. All right, so this is another one that's got my 4¼ by 11 real red card base. I did all my card bases as real red, but you could use any color that you want to use, right? Okay, now let's bring in, again, our layers are 4 by 5¼ We've got a white layer for the inside and the outside. I've got a scrap of pecan pie. What I have in the measurements on the tutorial is 1½ by 1½. This is obviously a little bit bigger. I've got a label that I've die cut using the perennial postage dies, which is this one right here. Cute. And let's see, I cut the kissing booth out. Let's poke those little hearts out of there. Cute. If you had the patience to use those, totally would be fun. I don't have that patience, so that's not happening for me. But if you did, you totally could do it. And I love this because you can nest the dies together and save a lot of cardstock by cutting them out like this. So I've got my little booth. There's with the Valentine Kisses dies, the little scallop edge with the Valentine Kisses dies, a strawberry slush heart. So this was, sorry, let me tell you colors. This is Coastal Cabana, Strawberry Slush, and Real Red. Okay, sorry I didn't tell you that up front. All right, and then I've got two squares here. So I've got a piece of vellum that is, let me make sure I tell you the right size, 3¾ by 3¾ And this basic white is 3¼ by 3¼ So I'm gonna layer these on the front here. So I've got all those fun parts and pieces. Okay, so I'm going to start with my white layer here. And I'm going to lay this down for placement. And I'm going to lay my sentiment down for placement. So, and my vellum piece. I just want to see where my layers are going to fall to see where I want to stamp. And the reason I want to stamp first is so that I don't make a hot mess, right? I want to make sure it's going to work. So let's grab our Real Red ink pad. I think you could use any coordinating color if you don't have Real Red. That's entirely up to you on what you want to do there. And I'm going to grab, that is not the right one. I'm going to grab these little lips. So we're going to give some smooches. So I'm going to put a smooch there. Cute. I'm going to put a smooch there. And I know that my placement is going to work. Right? Do you guys like it? I hope so. And you know what? I'm going to put a smooch on my layer for the inside. Since I've got this out, slide this over, and I'll put a little smooch right down there. All right, so I'm done with my smooches. Yes. Let's see. Yes, yes. So watch the inventory. So there's a comment about these being out of stock. So they were here the other day when I planned to do this, and then now they're not in stock. That is a common thing. Things go in and out all the time. When you want something, you want to get it sooner rather than later. But they will pop back in. And if it's something you want, go into the online store and mark it as you want to know when it comes back in. Because I will tell you, things are popping back in early. Not always, but I've had so many things that weren't going to be in for several weeks that just popped right back in. So, and then they pop back out. So you just have to watch it. All right, we're going to take our 3x3 piece of designer paper. This was square B, and we are going to attach this. Now, you can choose whichever side you want. You could do the XO or the stripes. I like the XO, so I'm going to do it as my main. And I'm just going to adhere that right, centered right onto that white layer. Okay. And then I want to pop this up on my vellum layer because I want a little bit of height there. So let's find where I put my dimensionals. Okay, so here again, I want to build this and then put it down. That way I can hide my dimensionals or my adhesives, I guess I should say, so you don't see them through the vellum. But the vellum adds a nice soft touch, a little extra interest, I think. You could leave it off if you don't like vellum, but I love it. All right, and then I'm just going to use a little Stamp and Seal and put this down. And I'm centering it on 3 sides, the top and the left and right, more or less. Give that a little push. So that's all built up there. Cute, right? I love it. Let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. Da-da. And we're going to do this in Memento Black. I'm not seeing comments. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Bear hugs and kisses. Cute, cute. I love it, love it, love it. And then we're going to pop this up with dimensionals as well. Again, if that's too much popping up for you, do it flat. That's perfectly acceptable to do it flat. You know, if you're going to put it in the post, I put mine in the post with all the pop-ups, but if that bothers you, don't do it. Okay. Am I perfectly centered? Probably not. It's okay. I'm not going to let that stress me out at all. Okay. All right, let's build our little kissing booth. So adorbs. And we're going to put a little liquid glue right on the scallop here. Maybe. That was a lot of liquid glue. I might regret that. Let's see, did I do my heart flat? I think I did my heart flat. So we're going to put a little liquid glue on that as well. All right, so we will build that. Make sure I'm in camera. Am I in camera? I think so. I'm just going to adhere that to the top. Cute, cute, cute. And then I'm going to add my little heart on the side. I love it. Now, this I'm going to pop up, but I'm going to do this in just a moment because I'm going to slide this in and then I want to slide in my bear. So let's see. Let's go ahead. We'll put our dimensionals on. Why not? So I'm going to put a dimensional up at the top on both sides here in the effort to catch. Whoops, I got 2, which I needed anyway, so that's okay. And that way I'll catch the top of that little edge there. But we need to stamp our bear. So let's grab our bear stamp. Now this one I decided not to color. I decided to go ahead and stamp this on pecan pie cardstock and not color it. And that's okay to do, right? We don't have to color every image in a line art stamp if we don't want to. We get to make that choice. So let's see where, oh no, my die is not here. Where's my die? All right, I don't see my die. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna fussy cut because I don't have my die. I don't know where it is. It's probably buried on the table somewhere. So that's okay. You don't have a die? Fussy cut it out. So I'm just using the depth of my scissors and I'm going to go around the image. I think I do better in cutting if I rotate the paper. Now you could add a touch of color with your blends on top of the colored cardstock if you wanted to. Entirely up to you if you wanted to do that. I can't believe I don't have this die. Oh, can you hear the dogs? They heard something outside, so now they're all excited. All excited to check it out. All right, so is it the best I've ever done? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not going to worry about it. So I want this to tuck right down in here. So let's add one more dimensional on that, just to kind of tack him in place. Okay. All right, so I'm going to lay this out. I'm going to catch the bottom of it right there. And then I'm going to see how far up I want my kissing booth. I'm going to go right there. Oh, I missed grabbing it. Let's see. I was trying not to. All right, it's not going to do it. I was hoping I would be able to get it to catch, but I probably put the dimensionals in the wrong. Oh, yeah, I didn't take the backings off. And I even have them colored. This keeps biting me. So my highlighter is almost dead. Like it's so dry, it's not funny. And so My purple on my highlighter dimensionals is not as dark as it normally is. And I am struggling with that. I'm so used to now having that color to see if they've been removed or not. All right, so there is my kissing booth. I think I got it on there pretty straight. Now I want to put a little bit of liquid glue to kind of hold that in place. So I'm going to put a little bit on him, put a little bit on this part that's going to be flat, a little bit here, a little bit there. You could do whatever makes your heart happy. And then I am going to center this best that I can, top to bottom, left to right, and just plop that right down onto my card base. Adorable. It's adorable. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's bring in some more of our gems. And again, you can use whatever color you want to use. I'm going to use these lighter ones. Add a little gem here. And then we'll add one over here. So we're balancing our little gems here. We put two over here and one over here because we've already got two little sets of kisses. So we don't really need more than that. Of course, you could do more if you wanted to. I love it. It's so stinking cute. All right, let's finish the inside. So on this one, I stamped the XO, the kisses, little smooches, and a little birdie. So let's do that. So let's bring in, I think I will stamp the birdie first. I don't know that it matters. I'm bringing in Memento Black. And of course, I did the birdie, the wrong birdie. I've got the backwards one. Let's see. Let me grab the other one. He's facing the direction I did not want. I wanted him facing the kisses, and I grabbed the other one. So let's switch that out if I can find it. This is where who knows where things are, and they might be on my desk somewhere. So let's just switch that out. Okay. Where should I put this so I don't lose it? I'm going to stick it to my table here. There we go. Now we've got our little birdie. Cute, 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 cute. And then let me get my XOXO. I'm going to stamp that in Memento as well. Looks like he is standing on our little XO or just above our little XO. Cute. I think it's cute too. All right, so for coloring this, let's use our light strawberry slush. Kind of tie that little birdie back in. Ooh, yeah, it's okay. I got a little craziness on my bowl tip here. I use my blends to color other things, and sometimes it blows out the tips. Many times it blows out the tips. All right, and then I'm going to use my light coral. So that was light strawberry slush for his body and light coral for his beak. Cute. Stinking cute. And that's all I'm going to do on the inside. I'm keeping it very simple. Again, you see where the blends are going to bleed through. But I wanted to keep it super simple and just kind of tie that design to the inside just a little. I love it. What do you guys think? Yes? Love it? Do you like the hearts or the XO? I like both. They just have a very different feel to them. And you could totally change the background of this card base to one of the other colors in the designer paper easily. But I thought that this Coastal Gabbana gave it a really nice pop of color, which I thought was fun. All right, one more. 2 of the 3 are done. All right, this last one has a little more going on. So here, let me get the sample so you know what we're making. We're making this one here, okay? And I know I'm going a little longer than I like to go. I like to be within an hour, and we're going to be, I don't know that we'll finish this one in 10 minutes, but we'll see. So this is 5.5 by 8.5 real red card base, okay? I'm going to give that a good crease with my bone folder. Then I've got a piece of basic white that I have embossed, dry embossed with, let me grab it, let me grab it, let me grab it. This is the new Hearts of Love 3D embossing folder. Stinking cute. Love that. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So we're going to go ahead and adhere that down. Now, one of the things I love about these projects is that they're so versatile, right? Like we talked about, you can use the layouts with just about any critter. You could change it to something other than a critter if you wanted to, but it's just one of my favorites to be able to batch really easily. And I love it when a card looks special and it doesn't take us forever to do, which is really nice, right? Um, let's see. Yes, yes. Hearts for you? Yeah, yeah. I like them both, but I can see where the hearts might be, of course, that's the first one I picked, right? Yeah. All right. So next I want to do, I'm going to bring back my paper trimmer and I'm going to pull in these lovely doilies. So we've got doilies and they are in the real red or bubble bath is the other color. And I think it's kind of fun to mix and match. I'm going to use a small one and I'm just going to use a half. So on the original, I used the red one. You could use the back of it and it'd be white and it'd be a little more subtle. Or you could use the bubble bath. Yeah, cute. Let's see how that looks with our paper. Ah, the bubble bath might be nice with the paper. I do still like the real red, but let's use bubble bath just to change it up a little bit. I'm going to show you how to cut these in half. If I can find where I put my paper trimmer. There it is. All right, let's slide this over to the side. All right, so when I cut these in half, I lined up a heart, the middle of the heart and the bottom point of the heart at both ends of my cutting channel. And then because this is a little bit delicate, I put my cutting blade on the inside and cut out and out. I had the best results when doing that. So we're going to use half a doily on this project here. Okay. Now this might be one that would have been good for me to change up the card base as well, just to have something a little bit different here. Okay, so I want to look at this and I want to lay this down. I'm going to use this as a guide. I want these three sides somewhat even, right? And I'm going to lay this out and it's okay if this kicks out like this. It's okay if it goes past that white layer if you want to, right? That's entirely up to you. I'm going to put a little liquid glue on this doily here. And I'm just going to tack it down. I'm not going to do, that's a lot of glue. I'm going to tack it down. I don't want to have a lot of glue ooze. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. So I'm just doing a little bit here. So let me tack that in. Let's see. I don't want that cut edge to show. And I want to see that doily. Okay, I'm going to go with that placement right there. That's going to work out for me, I think. All right, so this piece of real red is 3¼ by 3¼ And then we have our little squares that we cut from our designer paper. So these are squares A. So let's go ahead and flip every other one. Why not? Ooh, yeah, I'm going to make the stripes go opposite ways. Can I do that? Yeah, I kind of like that. That looks fun. All right, so we're going to put a little bit of seal on this. And I've got skinny border. So I'm not going to push that down in case I need to lift it up. I'm going to do my opposite corners first just because that makes me feel better. I'm going to have a really skinny section on the inside here. My tummy's growling. I'm hungry for lunch. Okay. So you can see if I let that space on the inside here be whatever it is, that's fine. Let's see. All right, because of the way I put that down, I'm going to keep the stripe going, I think. It bugged me when I turned it. I turned this one the wrong way. It's okay. It's all good. All right, again, I'm going to look at those outer edges. Nice. Okay. Now, if you wanted to pop these squares up, you totally could. I'm going to pop this up on my card base itself. So let's grab some dimensionals. So Susanna, I've been saying the measurements as we go along. If you want the tutorial, I do have an order special. I'm going to tell you guys about that. So if you're in the US, if you place a $35 or greater order with me, that is before shipping and tax and after any rewards are redeemed, then you will get a hand stamped card in the mail from me and the PDF tutorial for all the projects we made today. And that tutorial is going to include the One Sheet Wonder template. Okay, so you'll have that. If your order is $50 or greater, you're also going to get the class kits pre-cut for you. Let me show you what I mean. So I've got them all cello bagged up. You've got all your parts and pieces. I do not die cut anything that requires the Valentine kisses because you might be using something else. So you'll cut those, but you'll have the paper to be able to do your thing. You'll also get the January Lovely and Beautiful All-Star Video Class Tutorial Bundle, which is a $15 value as my thank you. Now, if your order goes up to $75, we have a product of the month, and I have a video class tutorial bundle that I've put in my tutorial store. It's a $25 value that you'll also get for free. So when your orders hit $75, did you guys know that you can um, grab the product of the month for only $5 in the US? It's awesome. We have two of them available. One was a designer paper that was released in December and has not sold out. And then the other for January is a wonderful stamp set. It's a really good one. I didn't grab it, but I can if you guys want to see what the stamp set is. So that is awesome. Now, I don't want to forget my international friends because you cannot purchase Stampin' Up! Product from me. I can only ship within the US. So my international friends, if you would like to take advantage of my special, when you spend $35 in my tutorial store, you're going to get the PDF tutorial from today's workshop. If you spend 50 or greater, you're also going to get that All-Star Video Class tutorial bundle. And again, if you spend 75, you'll also get the Product of the Month tutorial. And that the Product of the Month is also a video tutorials. So yeah, all good stuff. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. And remember, when you place your orders with Stampin' Up, we've got bonus days going on. So every $50 that you spend, you are going to get a bonus days coupon as well. So all good stuff, right? All right. I just have a couple of die cut elements that I've done with my Valentine Kisses. One out of basic black, little strings there, couple little hearts, and let's see, I didn't mean to put liquid glue on that one. That's okay. I've got Strawberry Slush, Flirty Flamingo, and Bubble Bath of these little hearts. So I'm making these into little balloons. That Pretty in Pink one is going to, it's not Bubble Bath, it's Pretty in Pink. I told you wrong. Pretty in Pink. All right, that one's going to be popped up. Those are going to be glued down flat. I just wanted to go ahead and get some liquid glue on those while we were chatting. All right, my next piece. Let's see if I can find my pieces. Yes. So I have a little banner cut with the Stylish Shapes dies. Again, those are my favorite dies. You see me use them all the time. We are going to stamp our sentiment on that with Memento Black ink. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about the ordering special, let me know. But I have given you the measurements as we've worked through today's projects. So you can always go back and watch the replay and take notes if you didn't. Or if you prefer the PDF, place the order, right? All right, we are doing the little banner, sending lots of love your way to celebrate this special day. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's pull back out our stamp positioning tool and let's try something else with our bear here. So I'm going to bring this in, put this tool out here, and I've got my lovely cardstock again that we used earlier. I'm just going to go ahead and lay this in here. Hopefully it lines up nicely. Put my magnets on. And then on this one, I put my stamp on this little positioning arm here. So this is a secondary item that you can use to align your stamps and whatnot. So this is kind of a cool one. So remember how we used to do the hinge step where we can move the plate? This is kind of like that. So you can move where this positions. So there are holes right here, and then you've got the little springy in all four corners, right? So I can just lay this right on there, and then this is ready, and I'll be able to stamp it down. Make sense? I'm not really explaining it well, I don't think. All right, what did I do with it? Memento Black. Let me grab my Memento Black ink. Nice. All righty. And then this is the part I keep forgetting is that there's little holes right there. So this does have a little give. So this one might be a little more difficult to use, maybe, maybe not. But once you get it down, you're good. And then I'm just going to push that. Now, because of the give on this, if I had to stamp it again, I don't know. We might find that we need that we need some extra because this does have a little bit of play in it. So I'd use the bigger base when it makes sense to use the bigger base, right? All right, so now we are going to color this one as well. Whoa. Now, instead of doing a brown bear, this time I'm going to use gray granite. So we're going to bring in our gray granite. I'm going to use the ivory again for his little, what is that, muzzle? Is that a muzzle? His little face right there. And then let's go ahead and bring in, I'm going to use pretty and pink on him for his little ears. That's bright. Pretty and pink. Light, pretty, and pink is what I have there. All right, and then let's use gray granite. So we'll make a little gray bear. And I'm not going to put quite as much dark on this one as I did on the last one. I think I'm going to do a little more coloring with the light and layering it than with the dark. Just because I think I would like him a little lighter in color. Okay. All right, there's my dark laid in. And then let's blend this out with our light. I'm going to lay down my light color first. We'll have to go back and look at that other bear where we used the color lifter and see what we think. I don't typically use it because I'm not always a fan. My blend is getting a little dry. Might have to invest in a new set. All right, so there's my light is down. And as I said, I didn't do quite as much dark on this one because I really wanted to do more of the blending with the light one. And every time you layer the color, it gets a little bit darker. Nice. What do you guys think? Like it? Don't like it? All right, I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and die cut this. Let me grab my die cut tool. Hopefully I have that die. Granted, I could fussy cut it out as well. He looks like Yogi Bear, yeah. This one's super cute. There's some wings in the set as well. And to me, that's adorable. Little wings. All right, I don't know that you guys can see this, but we're gonna put this up, put the matching die on him, and find where I put my plate down. There it is. I should have colored and had ones ready so that we didn't have to watch me die cut. Yeah, I think he's a cutie in this color too. So what I wanted to show you is that you can change it up, right? A bear can be whatever color you want the bear. Oh, look at that. It slid really good. That's okay. No worries. We can fix it, right? All right. So it slid. So I got a lot of white space over here. So let's just trim that off. No big deal. I'm going to fussy cut that away. There's always a way around it. There's always a fix. Whether you intended it to be a certain way or not, you can always fix if that bothers you. Okay, cut off a little bit of his ear there, but it's all good. Oh, I cut off his back too. He got hit in the butt. Okay. Now, I want to lay this down so that he is placed right at the edge of my sentiment there. I just want to tuck it right in there. So I'm going to grab him first. I want him to cover up the edge of that doily. So let's go ahead and put some dimensionals on this side of him. Oh, look, I stamped on the back of that too. You never know what I'm going to do with my scrap paper and what I'm going to re-pull in. Okay, so we've got dimensionals just on that front side because I want him popped up because this layer is popped up. And I'm going to slide him where I want him to be. which is just so that he covers that doily cut edge. And then, yeah, just checking this to make sure that's going to go where I want it to go. I will put that down. Now I'm going to pop my sentiment up as well. Or should I do it flat? I'm going to pop it up. It popped up. And I'm not going to put it all the way to the end because technically this pop-up is a little bit taller than my bear here. So I'm going to slide that edge in because I want that edge covered. Okay. We'll put that right down on our layer. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Now, let's go ahead and grab our balloon strings. And we should be able to slide them right down into our sentiment here. And if you can't, because you place your dimensional right where you need it to be, just clip the bottom off. It's always good. All good. Okay. And then let's grab our flirty flamingo heart. I'm going to put this one out, and it can hang off the edge. That's okay. Our strawberry slush heart. So these were just out of little 1" by 1" pieces that I cut these. Some scraps, right? So you can overlap them if you want to. And then this one, I'm going to dimension down since I already put the dimensional on there so I wouldn't forget. And add this little heart right here. How stinking cute. How cute. And then that really kind of ties together nicely with my little pink doily, I think. Now, let's change it up a little. Let's add a little wink of Stella. I'm going to add a little wink of Stella to this heart right here. Why not? Now, if your Stella's not coming out, you can squeeze it, but always squeeze it over the silicone craft sheet because if it comes out and it oozes, then you can still use all that glittery goodness. All right, so we'll have a little glittery on there. Might be time to get out a new Stella for me. All right, let's add some of our gems here. There they are. Great, great, great. And let's just sprinkle on a few of these. Again, I'm going to go this light color since that's the color I've been using and what I have handy without running out. Let's put two really close together there. And then let's add one to our balloon up here. Cute. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, you could tell I cut his back off pretty good, but I think it's still cute. He's skinny. All right, so let's take our inside layer. So I've got a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of basic white. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stamp that bear. Yeah, you love it? Yay! Yeah, this one's a little more stepped up. I've got a little more going on. You could leave the doily off if you wanted to. You could leave the emboss layer off if you wanted to. I mean, there's choices that you can make, but I thought it looked really, really nice. So there we go. We've got our little bear. And then let's bring in our real red and our XOXO. Let me wipe any excess ink because originally we stamped that in black, so I don't want to transition black ink into my red ink. Cute, 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 cute. All right, and now we need to color him as well. So let's bring back in my ivory. And you know what? I think I will grab a scrap piece of paper because I'm coloring towards the bottom edge and I don't want to color on my glass mat. I can, but Stampin' blends are a little harder to get off. You got to use rubbing alcohol. So I am going to avoid that. And we will put in our ivory here. Okay, and then I think I used Pretty in Pink for his ear this time. And I'm just going to add a dab of color. Not quite the whole thing. And then again, let's bring in our gray granite. Yep, that's dark. Let's start off with some dark. Again, I'm going to keep that pretty easy on the dark. I'm not going to go too crazy here. Now you could just add a little highlight of color like that and not color in the image, right? Like we did on our little lamb. Color this in. So cute. So what are you guys going to use? Are you going to recreate these cards? What products are you going to use? You can use anything in your stash. You don't have to have this one. Although it is really nice. And I highly recommend you have it. But They might not speak to you, right? All right, and then let's adhere this to our card inside. Oh, this one's your favorite? Oh, yay. Okay, nice. This one definitely has a little more going on. And I am partial to the red doilies. So I think I would want to switch the card base to the pink because it doesn't have the pop that the red has. I do still like it though. So I don't know. I could also take a brayer and change all the pink ones to red, which would work as well. Yes? What do you like? Do you like it? So that was card three. Let me see if I can find card two. Here was card two. And then card one, and then our variations that we did with our Easter and our little lamb. And like I said, you can use anything. Anything is in your arsenal to be able to use to pull these layouts, right? Because they're super, super versatile and all good stuff, right? You have questions on anything? So whether you guys order or not, I'm just glad you spent this creative time with me. Again, I'm going to take the replay will be pinned to the featured area at the top of this group. But don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions. I'm here to support you. And thank you for being part of my crafting community. I love gathering with you guys and creating with you guys, and I hope that you have a fantastic weekend. I will remind you that the ordering special is valid through Monday, February 2nd. All right. Thank you all very, very much, and I will see you again soon. All right. Bye for now.